additional river ports and jetties, as well as provision of barges, boats, and ferry services. In the same vein, opportunities abound for interested private participants in the management of the lower river Niger channel. In the bid to assist and encourage indigenous ship operators, government is processing the release of funds to deserving applicants from the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, established by the Cabotage Act of 2003, in order to facilitate ship acquisition and to build indigenous capacity. Interested indigenous players can obtain relevant information on the guidelines of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, MAS. Equally, interested investors can contact the Nigerian Shippers Council on guidelines for the development of inland container depots. Nigeria has continued to partner with the international community to enhance regional and global collaboration to address security and other challenges in the maritime sector. Some of these include the signing of MOU and community cooperation of the Maritime Organization of West and Central Africa, MOCA, hosting of the DA expert working group meeting on shipping, where bilateral and multilateral agreements between member countries to leverage the areas of comparative advantage achieved by the stronger ones for the overall development of the maritime sector of these countries. The signing of an eventual coming into fruition of the Abuja MOU on port state control, all underscore government's commitment to develop the sector. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the current administration in Nigeria places premium on private sector-driven economy as a basic component of its transformation agenda. All over the world, alumni associations have played vital roles in the development and progress of their institutions, and therefore, mine Oron cannot be an exception. There is high expectation on you, especially in this period of transformation. As partners in progress, you are expected to contribute your quota to government's vision for the development of infrastructure and capacity engineering for the academy. Let me once again reiterate government's commitment to creating the necessary enabling environment for collaboration and partnership in the development of key sectors of the economy. I must not forget to extend the appreciation of the government and the people of Nigeria to the International Maritime Organization, IMO, the Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, His Excellency Dr. Tafida, the World Maritime University in Melbourne, and indeed the initiators of this summit for their support and encouragement. Finally, I urge you to take advantage of this forum to brainstorm on the developmental needs of our beloved country and indeed the industry, and identify areas of interest for collaboration. It is therefore my singular honor and privilege to declare this summit open, and I so do. Thank you very much for listening and
You're distinguished. You prefer or distinguished?
Whichever. Forever.
Very much like to thank the Honourable Minister, thank the Honourable Minister of Transport for this excellent speech. Normally you find that you can get a big picture strategy where they deal generally in the issues facing the industry. But here we've got such a long list of deliverables that I'm afraid my pen couldn't keep up with them. And please, from all of us here, we'd very much like a copy of your speech so we can put on record just how many different initiatives that the Nigerian government has with respect to the maritime industry. And I think it's very inspiring, and we're delighted to hear all the things that are going on. And I speak as someone with many years of experience of Nigerian ports. Before we go any further, I think we should just thank His Excellency and all our distinguished guests for taking the time to be here this morning and give us such a special opening to the day's events. And think we should also thank the organisers. If it wasn't for them, our distinguished guests wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be here. If ever you run an event, and you'll know exactly how much time and effort it takes to put something like this together, they have just worked so hard, and they deserve all the success the next 2 days will bring. So by way of introduction, please allow me a few minutes. It's clear just how much Nigeria is focused on the development of its maritime industry from our speakers so far. The concessioning of cargo handling operations across more than 6 Nigerian ports and 24 terminals was hugely impressive. And Nigeria, unlike other African countries, embraced the opportunities this presented and has greatly improved its ship and cargo handling productivity. Those ports that have yet to do so elsewhere in Africa are suffering congestion and poor productivity as a consequence. Nigeria has passed its cabotage laws to protect its maritime industry and enable the development of its own maritime professional skills, which we've been hearing about already. These maritime professionals are the future of our industry. And I'm speaking as somebody that got kicked out of the door and sent off to sea when they were 17. And they're needed not just on ships at sea, but on rigs, FPSOs, in ports, on tugboats, as pilots, and ashore in ports and on terminals to manage operations, procure equipment, particularly to improve risk and safety and security, to keep port staff and assets safe, and to become the experts in marine insurance and maritime law that our industry needs. When it comes to port master planning, it's often the soft skills that are overlooked. The civil engineers calculate the millions of tons of concrete, the loadings for key cranes and for the bollards, and the billions of cubic metres of dredging that are required. However, they often overlook just how long it takes to train the staff that will be required. As an example, including the initial college time at places like the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, it can take 10 years from cadet through to master mariner to become a suitably qualified pilot, especially for the larger and larger international ships that are now calling in Nigerian waters. As these ships, their bridges with systems such as ECDIS and the tugs with azimuth drives become more technically complex, it's essential to invest in lecturers with these recent skills and training facilities such as ship and crane simulators to ensure maritime professionals are up to date and able to work with the latest technology so that Nigeria can stay at the forefront of the maritime industry. This means you need to start planning for the soft skills for your port expansion long before the civil engineers get involved. Today, we've heard about Nigeria's ambitious port expansion plans and across many Nigerian states that are keen to build their own ports. And apart from the millions of tons of concrete needed that will keep people like Mr. Dangote very happy, there's also a huge increase in maritime professionals needed for all the extra tugs, pilots, engineers, port managers, cargo handling experts, which is why this event is so important. Ports are enablers, they're gateways that stimulate trade, and trade is like water. It will take the easiest route. So the challenge is not only to provide enough well-trained professionals, but to provide management that can continue to look to improve the productivity of Nigerian ports, both on landside and waterfront. And I'm sure in that respect, many of the UK leading maritime academies will be keen to partner with you to help that drive in progress. We face many challenges, especially on the security side, and not just in Africa, but on a global basis. The UK Maritime Coast Guard has just raised the security level for the ISBS code to level 3 for British ships, which is very rare, and we need to do more to protect our national assets, such as ships and ports, to make them more secure. Clearly, we face many challenges that we need to address over the next 3 days. But to put everything into perspective, it's more than 30 years ago that I joined a small team where together we developed a leading ro-ro and container liner service to West Africa that was a success for more than 25 years. I could not have imagined just how much Nigerian ports might change. Today, we can see those significant changes. Your challenge, ladies and gentlemen, is to produce the vision for the next 30 years and to train the people to achieve it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin that challenge today. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome for session 1 our next speaker,
you see it and you don't have a comment. Be very happy. Dig them up. Yeah? Forget to pray for ID card. Yeah, my dear, I will take it, sir. I'm very happy to have it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You'll just be presenting. In the next 5 minutes, one
I'll see you later. German,
Captain, let me escort you to the
okay. He has not come.
Yes, sir.
He's in town. Thank you. Be careful.
Thank you for your nice words about IMO.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Honorable Mr. Kumure, thank you very much.
Empty has arrived.
Georgia.
Development strategy by government of Nigeria to put in a lot of resources and facilities for the maritime to
In line with Nigeria's drive to woo investors into the country, and of course the determination to double trade between Nigeria and Britain by next year, what areas of do we have investment coming into the maritime sector from British investors?
Well, there are many. You know, it's difficult to quantify specifically, but there are many. The relationship between Nigeria and Britain is a very long one. Those who operate maritime services between here and Nigeria are many, and they've been there for long. And it is not waning. It's a little bit low nowadays. We are not fully participating. This is why the federal government is doing everything possible to see that Nigerians participate in the maritime.
That we have growing interest in investment from the British.
Very much so, very much so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
But what are the expected dates of completion of the ports, the river ports that are currently being constructed?
Well, as you are fully aware, we've completed the Liverpool and Onitsha, which has been commissioned, and before the first quarter of next year, we hope to concession it out to the private sector for operation. We have a number of river ports being currently constructed in the country. We have one in Kuta in the State. There's another one in Baro in Niger State. We hope that by the end of this year, these two will be completed and indeed commissioned. Equally, they are going to be concessioned out to the private sector for operation. And then, of course, we have the Lokoja River Port, which is currently under construction. It is expected to be completed by the third quarter of next year, 2014. Again, as soon as it is completed and commissioned, it is going to be concessioned out to private operators. Of course, we are working on processes for the dredging of the river Benue, and along that, we are equally going to construct the Lokoja River Port. The processes are being worked upon. We hope that before the end of the year, this project will commence.
Okay. And also state security measures put in place to guide investment in the maritime sector.
Well, a lot of measures are being put in place. As a matter of fact, steps are being taken to fortify what we already have on the ground. Currently, NIMASA has established a partnership with the private sector operators, indeed working with the Nigerian Navy to guide our waters and of course within the Gulf of Guinea. And like I said in my speech, Nigeria is a signatory to a lot of agreements and particularly the code of conduct for the operations of the ECOWAS and ECAS countries and indeed the Gulf of Guinea Commission. The idea is to put heads together, pull resources together, collaborate very closely, share ideas and information so as to guide the Gulf of Guinea. We know that piracy and other vices at sea are very, very major challenge in most of our waters. But of course, Nigeria is doing everything as seriously possible to address these issues, and indeed we are succeeding.
Okay, any investment in maritime so far?
And as you are aware, all the ports have been concessioned out to terminal operators. They are being currently run by the private sector, of course, with the Nigerian Port Authority as the landlord, but of course being run by the private sector. There are other investors who are making very, very huge revenue in the maritime industry in Nigeria. And indeed, we have a lot of investment opportunities in the greenfield development of the ports. The Ibaka Deep Sea Port in Akwa Ibom State, the Badagry in Lagos, the Lake Deep Sea Port equally in Lagos State, and of course the Olokola in Koguna and Kondo State. These are potential investment opportunities for the private sector to come and invest in addition to, of course, the river ports that I've mentioned in my speech.
Thank you very much.
Keep your presentation to about 15 minutes, then you'll be everybody's friends.
Distinguished the Chairman, the Governing Council, Maritime, Oron, and the distinguished members, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. The copy of this speech will be made available to you merely after I'm done. And therefore, I'm going to paraphrase this speech to put away my timeline of 15 minutes, or less than 15 minutes. First of all, let me say that the Maritime Academy of Nigeria is the only institution in Nigeria statutorily established with the method of training all categories of personnel required to operate all facets of the maritime industry. 34 years after its existence, the Academy has established both the infrastructural and institutional framework to ensure that it delivers its mandate. The Academy has so far transformed Tropical College to an academy, and the mandate given to me by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Nigeria is to ensure that it is upgraded to attain a degree of status. That core mandate is in line with the requirement that the academy should upgrade to the extent that the certificates that are offered are in tandem with the requirements of the Minor Convention 2010 and also with the requirements of the affiliation body that we are trying to affiliate to all maritime university. At the end of the day, when the MOU will sign, like what the Honourable Minister of Transport said, we should be able to pilot certificate that has international acceptance, since every aspect of the curriculum will be modeled through the WMU standards. The academy today is expected to carry out the mandate to expand and cover admissions and training of all levels of personnel required for running and operating ships of the Navy, technical manpower purports, marine engineering workshop, piloting and navigation, marine insurance, hydrography, and other related services. We have so far been able to transform the academy in terms of developing its infrastructures and also to correct the marine levels so that the appropriate manpower will be required to impart the required knowledge and make those cadets really professional in the sense of it. While government is giving us the support, the academy is expected to ensure that we develop facilities and ensure that we also reach out to friendly countries to have a bilateral cooperation to increase or to improve on our technical know-how. That is why the priority we have